Yeah, welcome to another episode of Copblock Radio. Copblock Radio is filmed live in secret locations across the country. All co-hosts are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. What's up, everybody? We got a great episode planned for you tonight. I can't wait to dive into this. It has been an insane week. We've been away since last Wednesday, and I am Severin Freeman from Lehigh Valley Copblock, and we have a special co-host guest tonight. We have Michael Storm, former editor at Copblock.org. And Michael, are you there?
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Oh, nothing. I'm doing the same thing, man. I'm sitting here messing around trying to figure out why all of a sudden my microphone doesn't work. What do you know?
Well, I can hear you loud and clear, so it sounds fine to me.
Awesome, man.
Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, gosh, do they really want to know would be the question.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, you used to be a full-time editor at Copblock.org, correct?
I did contribute some stuff starting last year, and I enjoyed doing that for a while until life got in the way, and it's one of those things. So I haven't been doing that for a month or so now. And I'm moving on to some other things. I'm about to start a new show, not unlike this one, myself and my 15-year-old daughter, called Raising Anarchy. So that's what I'm into, and that's what I've done most of my life. More than
you have a teenage daughter, and obviously you're raising her to believe in the freedom mindset and the anarchist philosophies.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that I'm a product myself of the public school system, and I didn't turn out so bad. I'm able to think freely for myself, and so my own children have their choice. They're welcome to attend the public school system, or they're welcome to stay home and learn on their own and with my guidance, as well as my wife. She's an educator. And at this point, they choose to go to school. And so my aim in the Raising Anarchy show is to supplement her education with something that she can actually use in her life. And a lot of that is sort of the voluntarist. I know most of the people probably listening to this have heard that word before and know what I'm talking about. And that's just that idea that we're sort of all free to make our own decisions as long as we don't go around stepping on other people's toes.
So you follow the non-aggression principle, the NAP?
Yeah, generally I do. As a rule, I think that you cannot go around initiating violence and force and coercion upon other people and have a particularly successful life.
Well, either it's a life philosophy, really. Either you're a fully follower of it or you don't believe in it at all. And I if somebody explained to another person what it is, and if that person was totally against it, I don't know that I would ever be comfortable around that person, because what they're basically saying is, no, I don't feel comfortable not using force to force you to do things.
And it amazes me how many people I come across that actually have to not just reason that out and go, oh yeah, well, I hadn't heard that, that makes sense before, but they actually have to fight through their statist programming that we've all been subjected to in this nation, and that idea that we don't answer to ourselves, that our higher authority is the state, it's government, it's these thugs with badges, and it surprises me every time, and I don't know why it does, because it's not uncommon.
So you said you went to public school and all that. So tell me, when was your turn? When did you go from fully I know when I attended public school, they really do indoctrinate you.
Absolutely.
They really, when I left school, I was fully patriotic and fully did not see any of our wars as murder. I thought that they were all justified. Like, I was pretty well brainwashed. I look back on my past thinking, and they did a really good job with me. I was pretty well indoctrinated. To not see things as murder when people are being killed. I mean, that's a pretty good trick.
Well, and it's interesting too, because while I have always been a free thinker, I haven't always been free of state programming. So at a very young age, I was already libertarian. I grew up in Colorado, and one of my main mentors was a man who helped form the actual capital L Libertarian Party that started in Colorado. And so I was raised from at least the age of 12. Certainly before I hit those teen years, to understand that little L libertarian philosophy, the non-aggression principles, but I still had that status programming in there, really all the way up until probably my mid-20s before and I'll tell you why. Is because I'm an optimist. I always wanted it to work. I always wanted this sort of organization and things to work, and A and B to add up to C, and it never really did. But I was always optimistic, so I played the game. I tried to vote. I tried to participate in the system, and it was really fairly early on that I should have gotten a clue that wouldn't work. By my sophomore year in high school, I was pretty well done. I was elected to class president. I was long haired, pot smoker, leather jacket, heavy metal listener, and but I was still elected. But then when I got into that office, what happened is that it was just a puppet show. We didn't have any control. All of these issues would come to us, and they'd say, "Oh, are we going to have the bonfire this year? And how are we going to organize that?" And then the principal would come in and say, "Well, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that," and just overrule everything.
You bring him all these ideas, and he would come back with, "No."
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I should have figured it out by then, but that was certainly my very first experience with it. And really, even all the way up until 2012, I was still trying to be optimistic about it, because I even became a delegate for the Ron Paul campaign there in Colorado, and I went to the state convention, and I stood outside the state convention in a hood and an orange jumpsuit that said female on the back of it, and I was shackled and handcuffed, and I tried to get elected to go represent my state for Dr. Paul.
So before you left high school, you were pretty much you had already known that you were going to be rebelling in some way. I was the same way. I remember getting sent to the principal's office for drawing anarchy symbols on the front of my folders. And I actually I have an anarchy brand on my upper arm that I actually put there when I was 16. So I was, at that point, I had already decided that authority had no right to tell me what I can do. There was no authority outside of myself that can tell me to do something, and I didn't care if I was in a public school surrounded by people, and I didn't care if my dad was at home and whooped my ass. Those things were irrelevant to the fact that this person is a stranger in this school trying to tell me what to do, and I don't have to listen to you.
Yeah.
You can legally force me to be here, but you can't legally force me to listen to your garbage and your whatever was happening on certain days where I decided I wasn't going to be a part of the class.
Yeah. There was no question that I've never believed in any authority that wasn't a real authority. I mean, I listened to my parents and I listened to family members and people that I cared about and that I valued their opinion. But when it came to the principal, when it came to the, any of the teachers or anything like that, unless they had won my respect by being their own individual and being smart and proving that they actually cared about the people that they were teaching and about students.
Real quick, Mike. Matt, are you there? Do we have you here?
I saw him.
Matt's having some technical difficulties. He did jump on and he disappeared again. But we will have another co-host, and we have lots of hosts tonight. We have a really packed, exciting show for you guys tonight, where we have back-to-back guests that are going to come and join from around the country to tell us and tell you what we think about with the events of Dallas and what's been happening in the last week since our last show. We just want to break this down and dive deep into it for this whole show. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to be right back with another segment of Copblock Radio. You don't want to miss this one. We'll be right back. And we are out. All right, Michael.
Yes, sir.
You have no camera.
Yeah, I'm about to fix all that while we're in break here.
We have a 4-minute break. It's a very short break.
Should only take me a second to fix it.
I don't...
And I gotta fix my...
All right.
Please contribute now at fund.lrn.fm and help us continue our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. The fundraiser ends August 19th, so please visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Yes, I hear you.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance. And
if I need to run with no camera on you, I prefer that than not having you at all.
Where you can contribute via various methods.
I'm here. I had it on audio only. I thought we were rocking that way. I didn't know.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help others.
Hey, Michael, are you there?
To assist you in doing so, you'll find
I
resources.
am here.
I got one back and lost the other one.
Including details on how to get a free bumper sticker.
I hear him.
Flyers you can print out and distribute.
All right, we're going to be coming back in just a minute.
As well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
FoodForLiberty.com sells high-quality, storable foods from New Manna. And right now, take advantage of our summer special. Purchase 2 family packs and we'll send you a Pro Pure Water Pitcher, a $70 value, free. This premium pitcher is ideal for use with just about any water source and removes more contaminants than other brands. And it comes with a filter that lasts up to 2 full years. Whether you need to be prepared in the event of an emergency, you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, New Manna is known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, super nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. And with a 25-year shelf life, you can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. Go to foodforliberty.com right now for great-tasting, high-quality, storable foods from New Manna. Buy 2 family packs and get the Pro Pure Water Pitcher free. It makes good sense to be prepared. Get it at foodforliberty.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
We're back, and we got our co-host back, guys.
Woo-woo!
Freeman from Lehigh Valley Copblock, and to my left is
Matt Taylor of Carbon County Copblock. And then with me as well is our special guest host.
Oh, here I am. I'm still here, I promise. I was just like you. I was having some tech problems.
Gotcha. Yeah, you know what? You know what the benefit of having a computer that has 12 gigabytes of RAM with an internet connection with 100 megabytes? Nothing. Nothing at all when Windows decides it needs to update when you are 5 minutes before an episode. Like, thank you, computer. You helped me out today.
Well, me and Mike managed to stretch the first segment talking about how public school indoctrinated us into thinking in favor of the state for so long.
Oh, man, no, I missed one hell of a topic then, because I actually was one hell of a rebel all throughout high school myself.
We were just talking about that. I was right around 16. I had gotten in trouble for making anarchy symbols, and I started cutting class. And
my high school had to add 19 pages of new rules because of me and my friend Zach. All right, I actually still have a write-up for I was suspended for 15 days for this, but it was risking a catastrophe. I shit you not, worded exactly like that, risking a catastrophe. And I didn't even do it, man. I wasn't even in the room. Somebody had actually turned on the gas in the science lab and got the whole room high, and there was a kid there hitting a striker.
Well, you know what? My dad was hard as hell on me for getting in trouble and always wanted me to go straight and narrow and do the right thing. Then I find out later on in life, my dad drove a dump truck or a forklift through his school when they suspended him.
Oh, my.
Well,
my dad was a rebel and a half. He took down the school. And this was before, they would call the cops on you. He was just he was in trouble with the school for this. But he got into the backhoe that was outside when they were doing construction and apparently drove it into the school, down part of the building.
That's amazing. I love it.
I actually want to bring up something because I kind of just thought of it. You know, for almost 2.5 years, I went to military school. You know, I went by choice and whatnot. I thought that was the career choice I wanted to go into when I got older. So I went there, and when I actually moved from Kansas over to Pennsylvania and went back into public schooling, I almost had that statist mentality of, you know, the way that everything said law-wise is the way it's supposed to go and stuff like that. And then I almost felt like I had a better than attitude. You know, I was a kid. You know, we all make mistakes. Well, anyways, because of all that and the way that I was educated and then raised as well because of this environment, you know, I was a really destructive force when I went into the community, you know, back into public school. And it makes me think, if I was that way, why wouldn't all these officers be the same way too when they end up, you know, getting this regiment put inside their head?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn on the issue of public school for my own kids. I hate seeing my kids come home. My oldest come home and just seeing some of the stuff that he says and some of the stuff he gets in trouble for. The teacher wrote a note home because didn't write a note, but he got a lower grade on a paper because they were all doing the same thing. They were all supposed to draw the same thing, and he chose to draw something unique.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, you know what? It wasn't bad. He drew a nice looking train, and he loves trains. Instead of the dumb thing that everyone else was doing, he stepped outside the box, and I don't like how they're trying to program that out of him. So
I mean, they're trying to program, you know, an actual intelligence out of kids these days.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the math that they're teaching them. It is the dumbest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, why... It wasn't broke before.
Let's not even go there because we can do a whole show.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, my God, yeah. I don't even want to say it, but, I mean, just think about it, though. You know, they're putting a status mentality into children. They are then turning around and teaching them basically how to fail, and then, you know, pushing them through.
It was all public school. Get rid of it.
It's so true, though, because
privatize the industry.
The one thing that I noticed when I came out of a private military school and into regular school is I was 3 grades ahead of everybody when I came back into public school. I was 3 grades ahead of everybody, but I was still thrown back into 8th grade. So, you know, I come into 9th grade. So when I came into 9th grade, I was already working on high school equivalent or senior equivalent stuff. So I was bored. I acted out. It was because I was educated better. And it's nothing to do with just the whole fact that I was at military school, but if the curriculum's out there to be able to teach children at the level that I was learning at, and so was every other kid inside of that school, then why the hell can't our public schools even try to get close to that curriculum instead of testing kids for profit?
I don't know.
Once again, we're going way off topic.
Yeah, let's bring it in, guys, because we have a packed show, and we're just gonna kick it off. When we ended our show last week, do you recall how the note that we had to end on, Matt?
Vaguely. Give us a reminder.
It was almost sad, but we managed to pick up just a quick mention of the guy.
Oh yeah.
The guy that said it's Independence Day, F you, and we all had a nice laugh at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a little sad because we ended on 2 videos back to back of killings that happened in the same day or in the same week. I think they were a day apart.
Yeah.
Different parts of the country, and they both one of them hit the news and hit as a breaking news story. It was not even in our stories, and one of us had seen it during the commercial break and brought it.
Yeah, it was Rick.
That's how we ended the show. Well, this week we have more information on those stories, and we know now what those stories ended up sparking off. So the chain of events is, first there was a story about a woman named Lavish Reynolds that was the girlfriend of a man shot in Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
No, it happened in Falcon Heights, I believe.
Yeah, I believe that's a suburb of St. Paul, Minnesota.
The man was pulled over for driving with a broken taillight. The woman claims the man, licensed gun owner, so he may have been armed. The woman claims that the cop asked her boyfriend to produce his ID. When he reached for his pocket to grab it, the officer fired 4 times. The cop yells at the man that he forced him to shoot him, although he sounds like he's trying to convince himself on camera. There was a child in the car. The woman is placed in a squad car while her boyfriend bleeds out. The man never pulled a gun on the cop. At this time, it's unsure if the man is still alive or what the condition... Well, that's not true. We know he passed away.
Yeah.
That was Philando Castillo.
Correct.
So this is the chain of events. This happens first. Very, very shortly after, there's another one. And the other one is out of Baton Rouge,
right,
Louisiana, right?
Right.
Well, we're cutting to a commercial break. We're going to pick back up and complete this timeline, and then we're going to give our opinions of what's happening, what broke out, guys. This is a tough subject. I don't know if we're even going to be able to tackle it all in one show, but we're going to try. We're going to be right back with more Copblock Radio, guys.
Okay, I'm going to dial right back in because my camera is working on other apps. It's just not working in Hangout.
Rides without asking.
That's cool. If you jump out and jump back in, sometimes it'll pick up.
Yeah, hopefully. Be right back.
Fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com. and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amped is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. Tonight's show is brought to you by TacticalNut.com.
Sam here for JustAQuickTug.com with an exciting new game for you called Swine Time. Play it at home, play it on the go. You can play it while driving or even in the shower. That's right, friends. You can play this game anywhere. All you need to do to play Swine Time is have a mobile phone, pass the poker in the Swine Time app. After each new photo is uploaded to the donor deck, the player is rewarded with an in-game currency called Bacon Bits. Bacon Bits can be used in real life when you visit the copblock.org/store. So get out there and find yourself some cockroaches, and happy snapping.
Happy snapping, guys.
Yeah, I gotta head on over and get that app. Hey,
what's the exchange rate on those Bacon Bits?
You know what? I don't know. It's definitely not as good as you can get with Bitcoin. I know that for sure.
It's not quite 1-to-1 though.
Yeah. But hey, before we get back into anything too serious, I actually just got some news, so I want to give a shout out to my friends Paige and Lance. They actually just had their son about 15 minutes ago, Oliver Phoenix Bloomfield. So congratulations, guys. I'm about a week or two behind you.
Were you guys racing? Did you guys talk to each other? Like, who's gonna go first?
All this whole pregnancy, like. We've been it's been back and forth talking. It really has. So, yep. So, anyways, just want to give a shout out to them and congratulations. But before we went on break, Severin, you were basically establishing the timeline of last week from July 4th to now. So
before we pick that up, I am Severin Freeman of Lehigh Valley Copblock.
I am Matt Taylor of Carbon County Copblock.
And I am Michael Storm of I'm not. I don't have a Copblock here. I hate to.
Of the world, man, of the world.
I hate to say it, but there is a Topeka Copblock page. But every time I've tried to reach out to talk to the people here at the Topeka Copblock, I have never received a response. So I'm kind of sad.
You're just the man of the world on the show to fill us with your knowledge of life.
Yes.
Pumping brakes. We got a Kansas boy here.
Well, actually, I'm from Colorado. I moved to Topeka here a couple of years ago.
Okay, I lived 13 years in Manhattan, just down the street from you.
Oh, I didn't graduate. I graduated from a small community college in Colby, Kansas. You may be familiar with. And then I came up to K-State. That's where I met my wife 21 years ago now. And,
okay, so you know Manhattan. 21 years ago, I was there.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Well, you may have listened to me on the radio. I worked at K-Rock.
Oh, absolutely had to have. That is insane.
That's funny. It's a small world.
Small world.
Absolutely.
Amazing how that happens.
Small world.
Awesome.
I got to get onto this story, guys.
Yeah.
Speaking of small world, after that one egregious killing happened, then a second one happens right after it. This one's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and this was worse because you actually in the video saw when the trigger was pulled.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one you just saw the after result.
Well, I mean, you saw when the trigger was pulled like 9 times.
The details are fuzzy. People at a convenience store inside a car filmed as they saw a police officer tackle a man, pin him to the ground, screaming at him. He was in no way a threat. An officer can be seen pulling a gun and saying, "Don't fuck with me." The man remains pinned to the ground motionless. Suddenly, the policemen can be seen opening fire on the subdued men on the ground. And that video and stories at copblock.org. Anton Sterling was 37. He had been selling CDs in front of a store, and they tackled him. He wasn't hurting nobody. He wasn't, he didn't get the state's permission slip to be selling CDs. Big deal. They killed him for it. Unbelievable. And it was just, they were on top of him. They had his arms pinned, and they pulled their gun out and shot him 4 times in the chest, right on the video.
I mean, he was a more aggressive Eric Gardner, but I mean, that's the same thing that happened to him. You know, he didn't have the government's permission to be selling tobacco on the side of the road, so they killed him.
Unbelievable.
It doesn't come down to the fact of protecting freedom. It comes down to protecting the corporate bottom line, and these people are employed by the corporations that employ the people who make their laws. So if the corporation pushes hard enough to say, don't let these people do this, well, they're going to make sure that that's not that they don't do it to their extreme measures. So if somebody's out there selling cigarettes and they decide to take it there, that person's going to die. You know, if somebody's selling their mixtape on the side of the road and they don't have permission to sell something right there, they're going to die. And
it was just fucked. That video in particular, that man had no chance in his life.
No.
They were on top of him. His arms were pinned. His legs were down. There was no more down he could be.
Well, here's what gets me, and I've had this argument with people about this conversation for the past week now, because when you're looking at that video and you see this man and then you hear the story about what brought these people, these thugs in uniform down to bear on this man, was the alleged complaint of someone else claiming that this man had a gun. So they go in knowing that this man potentially has a gun. What do? They start a fight with him.
They thought. I know the first case they were told he was armed, because he actually told them they were
right. No, but that was what brought the cops to him, was that somebody saw that he was armed apparently while he was selling these CDs out there. So they knew that he had a gun going in there. They still chose if they assumed that there was a crime, they didn't follow what is our understanding of the law, which would be the Fourth Amendment, that they have probable cause for somebody who has a gun that possibly threatens somebody, go get a warrant signed by a judge, show up in force. And
it could have been history could have been remembered differently about this week if they just would have drove up instead of even getting out of their car and said, "Hey, man, we got a complaint. You got to get out of here."
Yeah.
I mean, but realistically, Tamir Rice would be, 14 if they hadn't just pulled up and shot him at point-blank range?
But they're supposed to be peace officers. They're not supposed to increase the amount of...
All right. I get that, but that stigma, that's a myth anymore, man. That bull crap facade has been torn down.
I know that.
I think a lot of people now know that, because I mean, okay, so even though you don't have your Fox News and CNN reporting on every single situation that's happening out there, the country is protesting, and not just in places like Baton Rouge or Oakland or St. Paul, Minnesota. It's happening in New York City, Los Angeles. You're having celebrities like Snoop Dogg coming out and getting people out on the streets walking and protesting against this, even calling for something I don't really agree with, but he's
last year. We're up to nearly 500 this year. What is it about these two killings back to back? I mean, I did see a few posts saying this. Why being a little bit of blood for the country to actually wake up and say something about this?
Live on air. That's what it was. It was
no other video showed so much blood, and people freaked out. Like, yes, I'm glad that it's finally being looked at the way it is in our country. Like, people finally snapped. It blew up. And Matt, you're gonna bring us the story that Ademo Freeman wrote about it was both murder and blowback.
Yeah, actually, as much as I was going to go on to it about Ademo, actually, I was going to kind of give my spin on this, because actually on Carbon County Live, I covered the blowback of everything that's going on as well. And the biggest blowback comes back down to the Black Lives Matter community. Now, the Black Lives Matter community has taken this whole situation and has run with it. Now, I'm not going to say run with it in a negative way. I'm going to say they've taken it and have taken it to the next level. Instead of turning around and it being 4 or 5 people, you're talking 60, 70 people, and that's a small group.
We're going to come right back, and we're going to pick back up with our opinions, and then we're going to start with our guests for the night. But I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say, Matt.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with more of this on Copblock Radio.
Okay, we're going to have to backpedal a little bit because we missed Dallas.
New cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Every once in a while you get information
we had one less
changing
slot.
Your life for. This is one such
We had
time.
one empty slot, so we're just going to bump everything up a slot.
25% on all purchases
so everything
at Amazon.
Will be,
you probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon.
We'll
but
come
now
back
you
in
can
and
get
finish
a
our discussion,
25% discount
and then
on
in the
nearly
second
everything
half,
you need
we'll just
to
run
live.
all gas the second half.
I've just given you a huge rate, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com. The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online.
It wasn't my imagination.
3.
There was
Give $5 a month to the
two suspects with the camouflage bag getting into a black Mercedes.
Online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek. But there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. We left off with Matt talking about his opinion of the events of the last week. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up was the fact of after all this happened, there was a big protest that happened down in Dallas, Texas. And, I mean, a lot of us know what happened there where, there was sniper fire, 5 officers lost their lives, and it turns out that it was a 25-year-old named Micah Xavier Johnson. Well, anyways, what was crazy is about 2 hours after the shooting happened, I posted something online. I said, now watch. I said, it's going to come out this man's got military service in his background. Then it's also going to come down to a situation where they have him trapped somewhere and he's not making it out alive. And by 7 p.m. the next day, every single thing had come true. Yep. They had brought out a military background. They trapped him in the parking garage. They blew him up in a extremely prejudiced way. So I mean, think about that. They took a bomb diffusing robot, strapped C4 to it, sent it in, and blew his ass up. I mean,
everybody's freaking out about this, and this is the one part about what happened that I really don't have a huge issue with. I mean,
so you don't have a problem
shooting at somebody.
You don't have a problem with them making the absolute choice of judge, jury, and executioner.
This guy's standing there shooting at them.
Eventually, a motherfucker's gonna run out of bullets, man. I mean, if he's not
meanwhile, what do you wait for? Everyone, what about those stray bullets? Like,
you could at least take that.
Actively shooting at them. There was never a period of time where he stopped shooting at them.
They do put guns on that thing. I mean, they could have just rolled it in and shot him in the leg or something. I mean. But no, they blew him up. And that just concerns me because now that they've done it, they're going to start doing it for other things.
They've set the precedent for killing people extrajudicially. But they've done that anyway. There's really nothing new about that. As of course, the memes that go around on the social media after that happened, a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is the first time that the police have used a bomb to kill somebody." Well, I beg to differ. 1985, they blew up an entire damn ghetto and watched children and families burn to death. And
down in Philly,
and nobody gave a damn about it.
Absolutely. Actually, this was the 20-year anniversary or 30-year anniversary, I believe, of it. of it all going down or something like that. I know we did a show about it a couple weeks or about a month and a half ago because it was the anniversary. But yeah, it's insane because then after all this happens, now you have everybody standing up because of the murders that happen and taking into account. Finally, people are looking into the fact that more murders have happened and just how many are out there. So now, everybody's joining up with the Black Lives Matter movement, and it's getting really, really big. And it's popping up everywhere. Well, now what your problem is that you have it popping up in the locations where this stuff happened, and of course the police force still wants to show their dominance. Let's take into account of what's going on in Baton Rouge and what happened today. They roll in 150 deep in tactical military gear, driving a Bearcat with a Stingray on top, and they're rolling through, arresting people. There was a woman out there holding a sign that said love, and there is a picture 10 minutes later of her. She's got officers holding her by the back of her arms, and one has her choking her. Like, what the hell is going on in this country? And finally people are seeing this, but finally people are paying attention and seeing this and waking up. I mean, that's what I see happening is a lot of people waking up. I mean, you go to your own social media and you think about the amount of people 2-3 weeks ago that was posting about things happening from cops, things happening, in the media that what didn't have to do with Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders. And now you take a look and you see, and it is stories about cops doing this, and it's not about the last 2 murders that happened. It's about other stories that they're finding. Like, people are taking interest in finally going and starting to do some research. Now, I hope this isn't something that dies out.
I've watched every single mainstream media acknowledge an issue. Now, they've acknowledged it from different points of view. Some of them said that the people fighting are terrorists, and but they've all had to acknowledge it. The point is, everyone has seen it now.
Well, I mean,
this is really happening across the country. People are done. They're not going to tolerate it anymore.
But then you have things going on like, I know I just talked about it yesterday on Carbon County Live. So the WNBA team, the Lynx, all right, they came out in Black Lives Matter gear that basically said, change starts with us, justice and accountability.
And they said BLM on the back.
Yep, and 4 officers just got up and walked out and just abandoned their posts because they didn't agree with the fact that these people were standing up for the Black Lives Matter movement. And then their commanding officer condemns or doesn't speak out against it. He backs it completely and says, no problem. If you guys don't want to work their events, here's a list. We'll never send you again.
It's despicable. They're proving our point exactly.
There is a line being drawn in the sand, and I mean, every day it's becoming clearer that police and government officials and everybody live in a different world than everybody else. They don't follow the same laws. They don't have the same rules. They don't have to tell us the truth, and they still get away with everything. It is clear as day. You have Secretary of State turning around and getting away with leaking compromising information. You have police getting away with murder, and then you have people turning around and owning a plant and going to jail for half their life. So I mean, the line has been drawn, and finally people are starting to realize that the line actually existed.
The only question is that I have when we talk about something like this is now that there is a line, when they do cross it, who's going to do anything about it? Because we've seen this before. It's not like there's not 1,000 videos right now that I can go to on YouTube of cops killing people.
Mm-hmm.
And doing so in an unnecessary way. The gentleman in California, the MTA, the transit guys there, the Mass Transit Authority guys there that shoot the guy when he's clearly handcuffed and on the ground and being held. But the cop just reaches in and pulls out a gun and shoots the guy in the back of the head, and then they get some psychologist to come in there and they create this bullshit story and this new phenomenon that never existed before to excuse why this cop just shot this man in the back of the head. So we've seen this before, and we've seen mass movements before. If we can take Occupy as an example, something that's happened here within the last 5-6 years. We've seen mass movements taken like this that start out as a solid movement where people like myself were out on the street, and we had thousands, literally thousands of people in downtown Denver. I had 2,000 people behind me and friends of mine and other people that were at heads of these marches for weeks after week. And we were marching on the Capitol, and we were marching on the Federal Reserve, and we were marching on the banks, and we were moving, and we were showing signs, and we were giving opinions, and we were taking pictures, and we were posting the video, and we were showing exactly the disparity between these rich people and the manipulators and the thugs. And then what happens? They start occupying the streets. They stop in the middle of the street. They stop in the highway. And that's what we're seeing now. And that's when the Occupy movement fell apart, is when they stopped marching and started standing in the middle of the street.
Yep. You're right.
I wonder what it is that's going to take it to push it to the next level. Is there ever going to be a real next level, or do the cops just continue to get more militarized and become more belligerent, and more people on the street have to die, have to pay the price for it?
Well, this is a fantastic...
I just wanted to correct something Matt had said. Matt, you said that the police chief came out in support. It wasn't actually the police chief. It was the union.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right.
Out in support. And
you're right. My bad. Thank you.
They will stand there and defend a blatant execution. They don't care. I don't know where they find these soulless people that can just look at a murder and not feel anything other than that they need to defend the murderer.
Well, you know what? I like the question that Mike just brought up, is what's the next step? And what's great is that over the next hour, we're going to have plenty of guests that are going to be joining us, and we can ask every single one of them what they think the next step is. So definitely make sure to stay tuned with us right here on Copblock Radio.
Yeah. Well... Yeah, you were a little early on that, Matt. We're cutting to a commercial break. We're cutting to a commercial break now. I was just wondering. I was like, did I lose the audio? Is Matt hearing something I'm not hearing?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, no.
No, we're kicking it around because we're coming back with a load of guests. We'll be right back after our after the halfway break, and we're going to have Ademo Freeman joining us, among many others across the country. All right, now we're out.
Okay, sorry, dude. My clock is off, I guess.
We go out at like
57:50, right?
It's 57:20. I don't even know, dude. That last segment's messed up. I usually just go by the radio. I go by the music that I hear.
All right.
My clock has never worked properly as a show clock, so I just know about how long we have left.
It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $12 higher at $1,345 per ounce. Silver is 19 cents higher at $20.41 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $659 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping clients buy and sell precious metals for nearly 40 years. For more information, give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
More Copblock Radio is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 13th, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,341 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $668. Antiwar.com reports related to a complaint filed with the Israeli Justice Ministry. Reports out of the Israeli border police deployed in occupied East Jerusalem reveal that police in that department repeatedly and deliberately took actions designed to provoke a violent response from Palestinians to justify a further crackdown on them. The attorney who filed the initial report noted he finally got 10 reports out of the area and that they all noted police initiated friction activity, with police in the reports openly describing actions they took specifically to create friction with residents of the Arab village in the area. Israeli civil rights groups blasted the revelation, with one lawyer for such a group saying the actions totally contradict the role of the police and showed a serious disregard for human life in the occupied territories. The complaint was initially filed based on a January 6th incident in which border police entered a village and shot a 12-year-old boy in the head with a spud bullet, putting him in a coma. Police defended this action and others, insisting their actions preserve the security and welfare of the public. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. UPI reports Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders officially endorsed Hillary Clinton, his Democratic rival, for the presidential nomination, ending what began as a long-shot campaign that exploded into a liberal political revolution. The announcement came Tuesday in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, the state Sanders won handily in the primary, and which will be a battleground in Clinton's general election efforts against Republican Donald Trump. Sanders had, in effect, lost the nomination contest many weeks ago when, before the California primary, multiple media outlets reported Clinton had gained the number of delegates needed to clinch the nomination, thanks to superdelegates coming to her side. Still, the liberal firebrand Sanders did not relent, pledging to campaign until all the votes were cast, and even after that. After a closed-door White House meeting with President Barack Obama, a defiant Sanders said he was still not dropping out of the race, and standing in front of the White House portico, told reporters he would continue campaigning until the Democratic convention in Cleveland. That changed on Tuesday when Sanders formally endorsed Clinton and encouraged his impassioned supporters to vote for her in November. The political effects of Sanders' endorsement is not yet clear. Polls have shown up to 1 in 4 Sanders supporters said they would not vote for Hillary in the general election. Sanders seemingly spoke directly to those individuals during his endorsement speech, repeatedly using words like listening, believes, and understands when describing Hillary's positions on his agenda. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports for the first time a federal judge has suppressed evidence obtained without a warrant by U.S. law enforcement using a stingray. U.S. District Judge William Pauley in Manhattan on Tuesday ruled that defendant Raymond Lambus's rights were violated when the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration used a device without a warrant to find his Bronx apartment. The DEA had used a stingray to identify the apartment of Lambus as the most likely location of a cell phone identified during a drug trafficking probe. Pauley said doing so constituted an unreasonable search. Pauley wrote, absent a search warrant, the government may not turn a citizen's cell phone into a tracking device. The ruling marked the first time a federal judge had suppressed evidence obtained using a stingray, according to the American Civil Liberties Union, which, like many privacy advocacy groups, had criticized law enforcement use of such devices. Stingrays
got cool backgrounds, but
simulators mimic cell phone towers in order to force cell phones in the area to transmit pings back to the devices, enabling allowing law enforcement to track a suspect's phone and pinpoint its location. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A new report released this week has found that nearly 3/4 of sleepaway campers' parents are currently using their children's time away from home to take the first steps towards filing for divorce.
With 46% of campers' moms currently staying with their sisters while they try to figure it out, and 38% of campers' dads sleeping on the living room couch, staring at the ceiling for hours before falling asleep.
Most
We're
gonna
come back with our commercial.
Moment, wholly unaware that their fathers are looking for temporary sublets and are experiencing a level of carefree, joyful buoyancy that experts say they will never feel again.
The majority of campers currently have, on average, 16 days until their lives come crashing down around them, at which point their parents will pick them up from camp, drive them to a restaurant, and then break the news that while they'll always be a family, they won't be living together anymore.
I love camp this year. It's so much fun. Mom sent me so many care packages. Dad even sent one. It's awesome.
This is the Onion News Network.
Yeah, we're back. As we mentioned before, tonight's episode is brought to you by MrQuitNutTug.com.
Wesley here from TacticalNut.com with an exciting new product for all your law enforcement needs. Do you need a 36-round shotgun? Alright. Do you need a rocket launcher? Well, it's in the mail. Or do you just need an IH-64 Apache Longbow twin-engine attack helicopter? Well, my friend, it's excessive by my standards, but consider it done. That way, next time the little old lady calls your unit about a raccoon in the garbage, you show up with all the force required to put the fear of God in the rodent by raining down shells of justice. So head on over to TacticalNut.com and start protecting America today.
I love TacticalNut.com. They have everything.
Yep.
Well, this is Severin Freeman from Lehigh Valley Copblock.
This is Matt of Carbon County Copblock.
Michael Storm, live in Topeka, Kansas.
And we're joined by guests tonight. We have Ademo Freeman and Derrick J. Freeman. We're all related.
Real quick, Mike, you can, like, once you're a Copblock Network contributor, it's kind of like being in the Bloods and the Crips, man. You can't get out, like, just because you take a couple months off. This is a gang like any other, dude.
Well, you missed what I was talking about earlier. Unfortunately, I've not been able to reach out to the people that run the Topeka Copblock. I've tried, and I've never gotten a response back from them. It's kind of disheartening. I mean, they're active. I see stuff go up on the social media, and they post things to the page occasionally, but I've never been actually able to reach one of them.
Well, you know the best way to
Copblock.
Yeah, and you know the best way to get a Copblocker's attention. Just start commenting as a cop sucker, and they'll respond to you real quick.
Good point.
Like, now that I got your attention, this is what I really am about.
Right. You know, he deserved to die. What the fuck? I was like, tell me, what are you guys doing on Friday night?
Oh, geez, there was a standoff over on the block across. 1 block away from me, there's a standoff today. There was half a dozen cops parked out there, and there was a kid, a child, and a woman involved, and I haven't heard the whole story yet. I'm waiting to see exactly what had happened from it, but they didn't kill anybody, if that makes it unnewsworthy.
Well, yeah, I mean, probably unnewsworthy, but, you know, in my opinion,
anything's a standoff nowadays. Yeah. They call it a standoff if you're just relaxing and don't feel like engaging with them.
Yeah, remember, we were just at a standoff the other day where a guy got a little drunk and sat on his roof, and they decided to show up with AR-15s. So
yeah, they were standing all around his house with big-ass guns in the middle of a neighborhood. Like, yeah, everyone feels real safe tonight.
Yeah.
Never miss an opportunity to get the toys out, you know what I mean?
And when was this? The 4th of July?
Yeah, well,
show us the freedom.
It was like right during the fireworks.
Yep.
He went up to his roof to watch some fireworks, and they surrounded him.
Yep.
But anyway, we have Derrick on, and I really wanted to talk to you about this past week's events and what you think about them. Just, I wanted to pick your brain about what's going on in your head about what's happened.
Well, when all that Dallas stuff was happening, I was live on Flaming Freedom, another great show on LRN. And by the way, thank you guys for holding down Copblock Radio. I think this is one of it's the most relevant show on internet radio right now. I mean, with what's going on around the country, if police accountability is huge, this show is really holding it down every week, and I appreciate you guys bringing the most important stories to the public and letting people have a voice about what their reaction or what's going on or what their solutions of how they're changing their policing in their local environment. So I'll share with you a few of my thoughts. When I saw the first shooting of Philando Castile and the live stream on Facebook, I was, of course, sad, but also relieved that we're at the point now where a person can live stream calmly, get good video and audio of a situation in an emergency. And that bodes really well for the future, I think. I've been pushing technologies like Cell 411, and if people were concerned that these live streams were being deleted from Facebook, take heart knowing that Cell 411 will leave your video up, that you'll be able to share it with others if you need to. It's a free app. There's no reason not to use it. So I tell everyone I can about Cell 411. I really think it's the solution to what's going on with the police craziness. And we talked a lot about what to call police because words matter, and they call you a civilian or a citizen. And they use words in a way to
sway the narrative.
Yeah, exactly. So I like
to be a suspect too.
Exactly, or a subject even.
Right.
So I want to use the same tactic and turn the words around on them. And I used to settle on cockroaches as a term, but that's sort of too tongue-in-cheek, too making fun. What they really are is lawless enforcers. They're not law enforcers. They're completely lawless.
Yeah. And
I'm for a peaceful, orderly society without police, because they are the ones causing the problems that I see in the world. They're the ones who are infringing on the freedom that I want to enjoy in my life. And they're the ones who are tearing my communities apart. They're the ones I see on TV every day. Another shooting by another cop. And he walks free. Oh, and there were no consequences. And
that's not what bothers me so much. And just to interject here for a second, and don't let that statement be undermined. The loss of life is a huge thing, but I think that reaction is like predetermined. It's highly emotional. And what's lost in it all, and is something I mentioned in a blog just this evening, is that the times where victimless crimes and revenue generation, extortion is happening, and that is the more severe wrongdoing. Like if you look at, I forgot the statistics, but it was something low in single digits, like the number of police interactions that end in physical force. And the outlet that I saw display this statistic is trying to say like, chill out about murder. It's not really happening that often, and on one level they're correct, but what that statistic also tells me as well is that there's a high level of compliance, that every time you're pulled over and issued a traffic ticket, they're not like, fuck you, fight with the cop. It's like, yeah, I'll take it, pay $150 to the state, also paid this due salary, state so far up my yin-yang, it's not even ridiculous. And that is the everyday problems, the 2.2 million people in jail, that I think would reflect Derrick's statements of harming the communities. I don't think any of us probably actually knows someone, maybe one of us, I'm not sure, I don't want to misspeak, but I don't think like every single person in the country knows somebody who was killed by police. That would be an epidemic. You know what I'm saying? But everybody knows somebody who got a ticket. Everybody knows somebody who's in jail. Everybody knows somebody who was pulled over. Everybody knows somebody who had the cops come to the door. Every single buddy. I could say that. Every single buddy in this country knows somebody that's done one of those things. And that's the problem.
And on top of that is that they know that everybody knows somebody that has had a police interaction where the police have actually lied and fabricated evidence and fabricated crimes and used those to try to lock people up with. I know I've had it happen personally. I know every single one of you guys has had it happen to you personally as well. The police have lied, and in my case, my family was taken away from me for 7 months while I had to fight a court case because of the police lying. Straight up just lying, and they do it every single day, and they don't ever pay for it. And that goes along with the compliance because they're being allowed to do this.
Yep. So with everything that built up with this happening, we know this is such a widespread problem. We're all a part of Copblock. We see this daily. When you finally saw the line crossed on live news, when you saw that they were shooting back, when they were shooting at police and killing police, that's what I want to ask you guys about when we come back from our commercial break. We'll be right back with more of this on Copblock Radio.
Go get Cell 411.
Insta-plug.
Yeah, I'm liking this flow.
Yeah.
Derrick, do you have another segment?
I'm happy to. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I think this is important. Something I've had on my chest since it happened on Thursday.
Yeah, that's the biggest question I think of the night for everybody. Will be to answer that.
Yeah.
Do we want to bring Amanda in since we've got everybody here?
No, let's wait. This is a packed show. We'll wait till after this.
Okay.
And, I already talked to her.
There's no more room in these boxes.
Yeah, that's really true.
I already talked to her. She knows when she's coming in.
Hey man, I never thought of that. This is like being on Hollywood Squares, dude.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, give me a 0 or an O.
Be Betty White.
Yeah, there you go. I'll be what's his name? The dude that's like, I always talk like this and shit. Oh, Godfrey, we got a Gilbert Godfrey up in this motherfucker.
Oh dear God! You want Godfrey? I'll bring you some Godfrey.
Godfrey's in the house.
Godfrey in the house on the commercial break. That's awesome.
The only people that get to see these commercial break the fun we have is on the YouTube stream.
Well, eat it up, folks. This is the behind the scenes stuff.
I know Rick's laughing.
Speaking of behind the scenes, I'm gonna go behind the scenes.
Yeah, we have a few minutes. I'll play the commercials for a minute.
I don't care. It's fun talking.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's keep it on. So, Ademo, tell me how in seriously, one night I go from having 22 million to like 110,000.
Yeah, dude. Welcome to Facebook poker.
Yeah, right, dude. Like all these people donkeying like a motherfucker on me.
Dude, I was taking a shit and I lost like 3 million. What fucking happens? Because people don't care. Obviously, it's a WSOP app on like Facebook or your phone.
I play that occasionally.
I'll check it out. We'll find you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I love it. I hardly ever play on my Ademo account anymore because I don't have that linked up to my phone for the app.
So you always Copblock.
Yeah, but I want to. When I do fuck around with it sometimes from my computer, because my profile picture is the burning flag, dude. People get pissed as fuck.
Nice.
I love it. Then they just get pissed.
I did the upside down flag.
Yeah.
Then you got people on tilt trying to take all your money.
Well, then I got 9 guys calling me every time, and it doesn't matter. Like I'll like either win a monster or fucking lose it all in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't care. That's like I'm smoking a cigarette or taking a shit time.
Yep.
Or night. You find me on there, and we'll mess it up. Or Brian will hit me up too.
Yeah.
I created a poker monster in Brian.
Man, I wish that I still lived where I used to live. I used to live right behind a casino down where right near Severin, and then moved an hour away, and don't really make my way into the casino anymore.
Oh yeah, Ademo, another reason to come to my town. I'm 5.
Yeah, I know all about the casinos in Pennsylvania, yo.
Oh man, you come down for the DNC, I'm definitely coming down.
Yeah. It's like I'd say it's like 70% chance at this time, and Kelly's gonna roll with me probably too.
Oh, that's gonna be amazing.
So that's like if we don't get like black bagged in the RNC,
Very true.
So I will put it on Cell 411 though. But
now, is Virgil talking to about getting any sort of notification control on Cell 411?
There's a lot of things coming. Like I think it's also going to be able to stream put your video to Facebook, and your YouTube channel.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
I don't know about if like simultaneously and live or if automatic uploading after the fact, but
the one thing I want the most in life is the ability to live stream directly to YouTube from myself.
Word.
Yeah, we're back. Before we cut to the break, we asked the burning question. First, this is Derrick Freeman of Lehigh Valley Copblock.
This is Matthew Taylor of Carbon County Copblock. This is Dead Air with Mike Storm.
That's good. Michael Storm forgetting to turn his microphone on before he talks.
Oh, I thought that was him too. That was great. I thought he said Dead Air with Mike Storm. That good-looking chap in the button up there, that's Derrick J. Freeman.
Oh, you know it.
Star of Derrick J's Victimless Crime Spree.
Hey.
Which I myself make an appearance in.
Demo.
What's that?
I said the guy with all the tattoos is a demo.
Yeah. Can you even see him?
So, Derrick, before we cut out, I had asked you, when we finally saw the biggest thing I think that was happening during the protest was the shooters that decided to start opening fire on police. What went through your head? What was going on with you when you saw this?
Well, I was stunned. I'm honestly heartbroken about it still. I don't like to see loss of life for anyone, and I don't see this as a thing with sides. There are no sides here. There's violent people acting out violence on each other, and I was saddened that it got to this. It's predictable. It's perfectly predictable to see people respond to violence with violence, but I would hope that someone would be smart enough to finally break the cycle of violence, not return fire, not say, okay, this is how we're going to fight this war, because that's not a war that I don't think anyone could win. That's to say nothing of the morality of the situation. I just think that the answer is alternatives. Looking at Cell 411, saying I have a peaceful way that I can resolve conflicts with my neighbors. If I have an emergency, I have a way to call on my community. Replace the police. Don't interact with the police. Don't go I don't want to tell people what to do, right? But I don't think it's a good idea to be anywhere near police ever. And I like to avoid them all the time. If they're near me, I'll take out my camera and record. I'll do what I need to do to defend myself. But I don't actively go out towards them. I see that as people trying to act out some sort of thing. Like there's random violence in Dallas. For God's sakes, I mean, just shooting random cops. What is wrong with you? There's that doesn't solve anything. There are cops who are murderers who have done bad things. I'm not saying people should harm anyone, but if there's anyone who's going to be harmed, I would hope that it would be someone who actually deserves it, not some random person in a uniform. So I'm not for violence. I want people to only use peaceful methods like replacing the police and not paying for them. That's the only thing you can do. Are you friends with anyone who's a cop? Maybe you should have a conversation with them. Maybe you should just not be their friend because you only want to be friends with good people. If more people took a hard stance like that in their social lives, I think they'd have a lot more justice than we get out of the courts. People actually listen to their friends and their families and cause those wedges and divisions and uncomfortable Thanksgiving dinners, but have the conversation with the people in your life because that's what you have the most control over.
And it'll take smashing that brainwashing, that copsucker mentality that all cops are heroes, they're brave and they protect us. And like Derrick mentioned, if you have a friend that's a cop, speak to them, and try to get that. And then at some point you might have to ostracize them or remove them from your friends list. But with family, that's a much harder thing to do, Derrick, because, and as some of us have related to in the sense of liberty, I've tried to talk to my own family members about freedom and, living free and alternatives. And, deaf ears coming from my lips, but when my friend or even a mutual friend of ours says the same thing, they latch on. And so that's a huge thing to get over, but I would certainly echo a lot of what Derrick said in my answer of how I felt. Like, loss of life is tragic, you know, despite what people think. I don't hate cops. I don't hate other people. You know what I mean? Unless they've done an exact thing to me.
That's a key phrase, what you just said right there. It's not about hating the people. It's not about hating cops. It's about hating what they do. And this is one of the biggest things that I think that we should be able to focus on, and that we should try to turn our focus to and make the attention, is separating the people that do these jobs from the job that they actually do, and try to concentrate on the idea that policing is the problem, that the people in America don't need to be policed, that they need to be protected from criminals. They don't need some guy wandering around with an authoritarian complex who's been given carte blanche to rape, rob, murder, and steal from all of the people that are around him by using these city codes and violations and things like this, where we have these victimless crimes that these cops spend the majority of their time enforcing. I try to explain to people over and over and over again that the police do not protect you. The police show up some minutes, hours, days later after some crime has happened, after you've already been taken advantage of. The only person that can protect you is yourself, and those are the people around you, and the community that you can form around yourself. And if we can start building on that, I think we can make the separation and finally get rid of policing in America.
Right. I
agree with that.
If you actually have a cop that protects you, the second thing you should do is go buy a lottery ticket. Because you are lucky as AF.
Yep.
I want to touch on how I felt during this time, because I don't think I've really said yet. When it first happened, I got to admit, I came out. My first thought, I didn't separate the person and the job, and my first thought was like cruel. It was like they deserved it, and I really had that feeling. Like, I've been dealing so much with internal affairs and cops in my area, and seeing them just completely not care at all. And I was just, when I heard that at first, it was almost like justice was served. And then once it settled, I realized, like, that's how cold-hearted this has made me. This has turned me that cold-hearted that I actually thought the loss of life was justified. And it's not. And once it settled, I realized, like, this is a tragedy. This was loss of life. This is doing to them what we're doing, what's being done to us. And we see now what the result is. They've militarized everywhere. They put on all their gear. They're out there. I told you so. They're ready to kill some more of us.
I told you so.
They're ready to take their retribution for their 2 fallen soldiers.
Now, I want to go back. We were probably talking about 4 weeks ago, Severin and I want to say we had Brian on. We had a conversation about, you know, when protesting at this level, when it goes to the next level, how should we do it? And Severin was saying, you know, I think, you know, and he's not alone in this mindset, but a lot of people were thinking, you know, we got to stand up, we might need to take this to the next level, and violence might be necessary. And I sat back and I said, what are you doing? This isn't the right. This is a horrible idea. You know, they are set up and stockpiled to react to this instantaneously, and it's only going to exacerbate the issue. And here we are, you know, just a month and a half later, and bam, it has happened. The issue is now that we are watching, you know, militarized police on the street in Bearcats arresting people for nothing but standing around.
Well, I wouldn't solely blame.
We're going to do a commercial break, guys.
Right.
We're going to be back with more of this. We have more guests coming with their views of everything that's occurred. It's been good talking, guys.
End the cycle of violence.
Thank you for joining us, Derrick J. Find him at DerrickJ.com. We'll be right back.
I got a little more to add on that too, but I mean, if you have someone else coming in too, it don't matter. But
no, you. Yeah. Why don't we have Ademo stay and we can bring Amanda in as well, because we can go into one more part.
We have Ryan Scott coming in next, but we can substitute.
It don't matter, dude. I can bounce actually. It don't matter.
No, you can stay on if you want. I was just saying, wait for Amanda till the next segment.
Yeah, because her her part is definitely the ending of once the protesting had started, and her story comes from actually protesting the aftermath.
Yeah, I wanted to hear from her too last to wrap up on everything that she's seen firsthand, because she's right down the road from one of these that happened.
She was in the middle of one of the biggest protests in this country now. So
she said she opened her door and it was like on the road.
Trust me, I was on a live stream call with her as it was going on. Like I sat there with her as I listened and watched this whole thing happen live, and was just like, holy shit. But one thing I really want to get into when we come back, and I don't want to blow the load now, I just want to warn everybody, is I definitely want to get into the whole fact of how the Dallas situation ended. Because I know, Severin, you have one standpoint on it, I have one standpoint on it, and I honestly see, just the fact of them strapping C4 to a robot and blowing suspects up as a scary, scary thing. So I really think we should hit that for a second.
I can't get this stupid thing to let me put an image up there. Kick Google in the nuts.
Is Riot coming?
Yeah, I just sent him the message now. He saw it.
All right.
All right.
Dude, I got this.
All right.
I got this like artery in my arm that keeps twitching, dude. I'm probably gonna fucking die.
Don't do it.
That.
I don't wanna.
Not doing it by choice, huh?
That's nerve.
Right.
You gotta take a vacation.
Yeah, right.
I always love doing this show, and then the second it's over, I'm like, crap, that means I have to work the next 5 days.
Place to go, that little juvenile delinquent you caught loitering out on the street corner. This is not rocket science, people. I just call up my neighbors, Frank and Terry. We get out there with baseball bats, fishing nets, and we knock that suspect out. And we toss him in our justice shed. We just start dealing out some shovel beatings. That's democracy, people. That's the biggest benefit of the Justice Shed, people. You are in charge.
Our Justice Shed was all filled up, so we created this Justice Cage. It's just as good. These guys, I think we caught them shoplifting, and this is my daughter's boyfriend.
Look, if you don't have a yard big enough to place a Justice Shed in, go out and get yourself a Justice Barrel. I don't care. The important thing is to take control of your safety by any means necessary.
This is the Onion News Network.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. We have Ademo Freeman of Copblock.org joining us.
Yay!
This is Severin Freeman of Lehigh Valley Copblock. We have Matt Taylor just jumping in of Carbon County Copblock.
What up, guys?
And our special co-host for the night,
Michael Storm, hanging out in Topeka, Kansas, also a member of Copblock and a happy contributor, although I have not produced anything in a little while.
You're producing this right now? It's been like...
I'm happy. No, this is great. It was one of the first things that I wanted to do when I first hooked up with the Copblock group and was getting involved in the radio. It's what I do. I like to run my mouth a little bit.
All right.
I remember that from when I was a kid, listening to you on the radio. So
it's amazing that's it. I don't even know how that happens.
Yeah.
And then you make me feel so old. I'm in college and you're telling me you're 8 years old. My God.
Well, we've been talking. We have Ryan Scott about to jump in. I think. It's a possibility. I sent him.
I love Ryan. Ryan's a good man.
But before
he ain't here.
Before we came back, Matt, you wanted to touch on another aspect of what happened in Dallas.
Yeah, so after everything came out and they figured out what was going on, now I know earlier in the show I said that I basically called the fact right after it happened that he was going to have military service and that he wasn't going to make it out. Well, you know, they took a bomb diffusing robot and they strapped C4 to it. They rolled it right up next to him and they detonated it. Now, I know earlier on the show, Severin, you had said that that's the one thing about this story that you didn't see being a big issue. Now, me, on the other hand, I see that as completely opposite. I see that as setting precedents for the ability to go and actually do this on a wider scale. You know, instead of bringing down a RICO case against a bunch of people dealing drugs, they might just send in a robot and explode it and just say, well, it was safer for us, so
But
this is what we did.
That's not. I mean, speaking in hypotheticals is what they always do.
No, but see, there's a difference.
What really happened was they stopped someone who was actively shooting at them. He was a danger to the whole entire community. And
all right, so I'll jump in here real quick because this is a good leeway into the point that I wanted to make over the whole matter, which is I think that we all know what a problem is, or some of us at least think we know. And I'm not going to say which problems that are identified are correct, wrong, crazy, normal, or whatever. Because to me the question is, if the Dallas police in this scenario were private police, and you both were paying for them every month, and this situation happened that your private police detonated a bomb on a guy that was shooting them, and Matthew felt this way, would you cut the check next month to pay for their service?
I don't cut the check right now.
Okay. What I'm saying is, if it's private, you were cutting the check. It's an analogy that they're private.
Oh, if I was cutting the check, no.
Right. And then this happened, and then you wouldn't cut them a check anymore. And Severin, what would your answer be?
I'd say job well done, guys. I paid you.
You cut the check.
You did it.
So that's my point, is like whether you think the police are inherently racist, if you think they're ineffective, if you think they're fucking violent, stupid monsters, or the best motherfuckers in the world. It doesn't matter to me. The problem, the real problem, isn't, like I just said, that they're racist, this, or that. It's that we ain't got a choice. We're stuck with it. You know, this is like saying you have to eat McDonald's, whether you have to pay for McDonald's, whether you eat it or not. You know what I mean? Even if you go to Taco Bell and buy something, you got to pay for McDonald's. It's really stupid when you give the analogy in any other service.
Well, you missed a part of that. If you complain about your cheeseburger, you can no longer get any cheeseburger.
And you might get killed. Yeah. The thing to me is that the whole thing that is lost is that the solutions, you know, everyone says it's this or that, and they don't really have a solution. They might say more statism, more cops, more laws. It's all these things that are getting us these problems anyways. The problem is that I can't say I'm not cutting the check. It doesn't matter. You don't have to convince me. We can have these talks, 2, 4, 5 of us on the radio show. 3 of us can cut the check. None of us can cut the check. All of us can cut the check. It doesn't matter. I fucking hate Burger King. I don't go there. It still exists because some people obviously are. You know, and if they were shooting people in the face, I would hold a sign outside saying, you might get shot in the face if you eat a cheeseburger here. McDonald's don't shoot you. There. You know? And
the McDonald's don't shoot you.
Well, hold up. We got Ryan Scott did join us from
Copblock,
right?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on?
What's up, Ryan?
Ademo was on a roll.
We're halfway through this segment, so I got to get you in quick. I just needed your opinion from DeKalb, Illinois. When you watched this on the news, when you saw what was happening, when you saw that there were shooters engaging the police, what was going through your head? What was happening with you?
Honestly, and I don't mean this to sound disrespectful or anything, but honestly, it looked like something out of Grand Theft Auto. See, like, absolutely. It almost looked fake, really. I'm not trying to say a conspiracy theory that it was fake or anything, but
false flag.
Yeah, false flag. But in terms of, you know, when I watched it, I feel I'm so desensitized to it because we see this happening every single day, and you know, normal people that aren't cop blockers, they don't see the police bullshit on a daily basis like we do. So from seeing it every single day, again, you know, like I said, I'm just desensitized to it. It really wasn't even a big deal. In terms of what
you weren't surprised at all to see them firing and killing
no,
cops.
not at all.
It's just
No,
I've been expecting it to be honest.
end result of their behavior.
No, exactly, and obviously, you know, as we've all been talking about, it's been a long time coming, and I think it's going to continue to do so. The hostility and the conflict is definitely at a maximum right now, so it's going to continue back and forth. In terms of philosophy, you know, a lot of in terms of you know, being a voluntarist, I don't know if all of you are, if you subscribe to that philosophy, but you know, I've had some discussions, some in-depth discussions about the non-aggression principle pertaining to that, and I see it. For anybody who's listening who doesn't understand the non-aggression principle, it is basically that you have the right to defend yourself against violence, and you don't have the right to initiate violence against someone else. And this is kind of a subjective thing when you watch this happening, because knowing what the police do on a daily basis, knowing what their job consists of, in terms of extortion and using violence consistently against victimless crimes and things and such in that way, was that guy really in the wrong? You know what I mean? Was he even violating the non-aggression principle? Because if you subscribe to the idea that you can protect and defend someone else that is experiencing violence from someone, then maybe that's what that guy was doing. Maybe standing on the rooftop shooting at these police, maybe he was defending people against violence. And whether it's on a piece of paper with a stamp, that says, "Oh, I have the right to take your money," that's bullshit. If somebody in a black costume with a thug mask on was stealing somebody else's money, and a cop shot that guy, it would be justified. They say, well, he was protecting.
I mean, like, you can't say that, like, person A robbed person B, and so person C is going to shoot person D because person D and A have the same job. You know what I mean?
No,
like, some other things about the non-aggression principle, or I guess libertarian philosophy, would be like, if somebody harmed a person over there, if I'm not the victim, then I really don't have, I can't execute justice on them as if I were the victim.
Do you feel it would have been a better statement and a better act if they would have targeted the actual officers?
That's one thing I wish in the aftermath. I don't know so much about targeting people, blah, 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 blah. What I'll say is that sometimes these incidents happen and people have the technology today to make clear statements, and sometimes they try to do these things through, like, negotiators and police. If this guy was like, I shot officer 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 because they molested my daughter, I don't think any of us are going to have a question that these people, and he's showing proof in a video, and even though he died by police robot bomb, we'd be like, well, shit, dude, I'd probably do the same thing. There was an initiation of force against the person that he was directly related to in a victimized form and could seek justice. His daughter couldn't do this herself, so he did it for her. But the so far removed. And so, like, if that was the case,
we're cutting to a commercial break. Thank you for joining us, Ryan Scott. We will have you on again later. It's always good to have you on. I enjoyed hearing your point of view. You can find him at Copblock. We'll be right back with Amanda from Minnesota Copblock on Copblock Radio. How many times can I say, hey, Copblock?
Dude, if you want me to bounce, Ryan can say, I got some time, and he's got something to add. Or it don't matter to me.
What's up?
I said, if you guys want Ryan to stay for another segment, because he only got one, I can bounce.
We're just getting
caught up at the end there.
She's like the grand finale because she has a lot to say, so there won't be really much talking for the rest of the show.
No, that's all right. Are we off? Are we still live?
No.
No, we're on commercial.
Oh, okay, cool, because I'm about to go smoke some dope.
All right, dude. Well, I'm about to go get Amanda on, and I'll be talking to you. I'll see. We'll have you on another week.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm always down for these, especially. I'm not sure. So I'm a little curious. Is there two different stations? Because what's his face always does a channel, and then you're hosting. Are those separate?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because I like this one a lot better. I don't like.
Yes,
I
like this one.
Yeah, I don't want to do it anymore. And I think what's his name, Matt? I think he's got a problem with me. I think he's got.
I am Matt.
Oh, maybe no, the other guy then. What's the other guy? Scott. Yeah, I think Scott's got an issue with me. So, because I was on the other day, and he just turned me off. He cut me off. I was listening to you guys talk, and he just turned me the fuck off. I was like, all right, whatever. Fuck you too.
I don't know, dude. I run this show. It is two different shows.
Okay, cool.
Matt does both shows.
I am always up for a show with you guys because I like this one. This one's cool.
Well,
All
I
right,
appreciate
cool.
that.
All right, well, thanks for having me on, guys. I'm gonna go get high.
All right, I'll see you later, man.
All right, man. Thanks. Bye.
Just shit talk my side project on air. Just go ahead. We're not live or nothing. Just shit talk my side projects.
It's still not letting Amanda join.
Amanda has like the worst.
Issues.
Look at this. American Furniture Market Outlet .gmail or whatever. You know what's crazy, Mike, is like, when I was a kid, I listened to you on the radio, and then later on in life, I moved and whatnot, and sure enough, it was DeKalb, Illinois, where Ryan Scott
Where
just
Ryan's
came
at.
from. Yeah.
Nice.
It's ridiculous how many different places like I meet Copblockers from. It's like, oh shit, I live there.
I used to be there. Well, and of course I was born and raised in Denver, and now Ademo's there, and I just missed him. I would be sitting there in that room with him, hanging out right fucking now, smoking a joint. If oh, you're not there?
Nope, not right now.
Okay.
I drove by you like 2 days ago at like 3 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't try doing that.
Yeah, I know. Not stopping in Kansas.
Oh, looks like Amanda's not going to be able to join.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
It's all right.
Here comes in the Facebook call. I'm not on Facebook.
Hello.
Hey, is this working or?
I hear her.
I hear her.
Join the hangout.
I don't know why it keeps hanging up on me for some reason when I try to call in.
All right, hang on. I'm going to make this work.
Here's what
I'm
we
going to
don't
run
have.
her straight into the soundboard.
That's cool. It's either going to work great or we're not going to have audio the whole time, but it's cool. Let's try it.
She's not going to be able to hear you guys, but she'll be able to hear me, I think.
Okay.
That
Can
kind
you
of.
still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Can you hear me, Amanda?
No, you can't hear them because it's only going the one direction. So
Oh shit.
she's going to basically talk the whole time anyway.
We better make it interesting.
Yeah, we're back from our commercial break. And in 60 seconds, I just rigged a quick call-in line. Having trouble getting Amanda to join. Amanda, can you talk?
Yes, what's up?
Wow, you sound clear as hell. This is working perfectly.
Awesome.
Maybe we need to explore this option later for call-in line, dude.
That sounds great, but for now, this is Matt of Carbon County Copblock.
I work well.
This is Severin Freeman from Lehigh Valley Copblock.
Michael Storm in Topeka, Kansas with Topeka Copblock.
And I'm Ademo Freeman with Copblock.org.
And we have Amanda from Minnesota Copblock. Amanda, can you hear them?
No, I can only hear you.
You know what? You know what's great about this show is over the last 2 hours we've watched the progression of Mike not knowing what he's affiliated with, all the way to being a part of Copblock and being Copblock Topeka. This is great.
Dude, that was like a faster evolution than JP Freeman, dude.
Yeah.
I
knew he was coming up.
It had to come up.
He was coming up.
All right, well, we have Amanda on the line, and you have been out there live, Amanda.
Where's out there? Out where?
St. Paul, Minnesota.
That's right.
You actually had a protest roll right by your house, correct?
A couple of times, actually. I live like 3 blocks away from 94, where they shut it down, and
shut it down.
Right there. I live right by the governor's mansion where they've been occupying, and yeah, it's just been nuts, man. This morning,
you're by the governor's mansion. In the political party.
The Alliance for Wake Your Ass Up, something like that, and it basically is.
Oh, that's right. You can't hear me.
You know, Black Lives Matter allies.
Keep it going.
We went literally like in the middle of rush hour in the morning at like 7 in the morning. Stopped on the freeway, held hands, and then they parked their cars, crossed the freeway, and they blocked traffic for like 2 hours, and they all got arrested and had their cars.
How do you feel about these people, Amanda? Do you feel like blocking traffic is an effective form of activism?
Yes, because it gets people talking about it. You know, whether you like it or not.
But
you know,
it gets people pissed off at your cause.
Perhaps.
I think it would
it's
be
not really-
I think it would be much more
It's not
effective
just-
to take that energy and block a police department. Block
Now,
their parking lot or something like that.
Well, you know what? I really wish Amanda could hear me.
The idea behind it is to disrupt business as usual. You know what I mean? If we, you know, I can't speak for myself because I can't necessarily relate to that movement. You know what I'm saying?
Is there a way you can let Amanda know real quick? I wanted to
Hey,
say
Amanda,
something.
hang on one sec. Matt has something he wants to say real quick. Go ahead, Matt.
You know, like I understand, you know, the reason for getting out and shutting, you know, the normal flow of traffic down, but don't you think it would be a far more effective thing not to do it at 11 o'clock at night, but do it at like 8 o'clock in the morning? Because then businesses can't open, then people can't get to work, then a real statement's made because you're shutting everything down to make sure you're heard.
I think you're just so far away from the problem, though. The problem isn't traffic, and it isn't that, like, I guess if you want to make the argument that it wakes people up, but I think it pisses more people off, and maybe, like, of the 2,000 people you piss off, 100 are like, well, I guess Black Lives do matter, or whatever the cause is that day. But it's so far from the issue, you know what I mean? Like, if you know, like, I agree that you'd probably be better off focusing attention around a police station. You know, 1,000 people standing around there with signs say "fuck your badge" would be great. Which is another thing I think is better than taking up traffic. Every motherfucker can just walk around and tell a cop "fuck your badge." Why'd you say that? Well, I said that because I don't think you need a badge, that stupid costume or your dumbass thin blue line, to provide me a service and take my money from me directly by persuading me that you can provide me a gooder service, and we don't have these problems. So fuck your badge. You know, fuck your badge, fuck your badge. That's what I'm going to be at the RNC saying.
Amanda's been in the middle of this, watching these people that have chosen to take this route. You know people, I'm sure, that have been affected by this traffic, and it, like, you've been out there at the protest. Have you seen anybody getting violently arrested? Because we've seen the videos all across the internet.
I did at the, not at the like occupation or anything like that, but I did see it definitely on the freeway a number of times. Man, they were just completely despicable.
On the freeways. They were actually hitting people this time, weren't they? Weren't they actually running?
Oh yeah.
I saw on the news that they were, or I saw in a video online actually, them actually running into people driving that were trying to stand in front of them and like physically moving them.
Are you talking about the cops or the protesters?
Not the
normal people.
The regular people.
Yeah,
that
the
were
everyday
standing
people.
there, blocked in traffic. Finally,
Like, my opinion here is that it's a tragedy of the commons.
I don't know about that. I know like a couple of years ago there was one guy who ran into some protesters, something different, but I didn't see that. Here,
so there isn't too much, like, it's not getting out of hand.
No, I think what's happening is a lot of people are waking up. I think they're getting a lot more support from the public.
Do you feel safe being
past.
in the middle of this? Has this been mostly peaceful in your area?
Yeah, I tell you what, I feel less safe being, you know, around cops with like one-on-one type of encounters, that type of thing. It's, I don't know, it's an incredible thing to be a part of, I guess, and to witness. You know, I think a lot of it's not all Black Lives Matter. It's like civilians. It's people in the neighborhood. It's my neighbors. It's, you know, my nephew. It's like, you know, people just from around the neighborhood going and just saying that enough is enough.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing that people are finally talking about it, but
This live stream is making people wake the fuck up, really, is what's going on.
Yeah. So what else have you seen besides the blocking of the roads?
I've seen, you know, the occupation of the mansion. I also seen
the governor's mansion, correct? That was all over the news.
Yes.
They surrounded that whole
people are
place.
Right, they're occupying Governor Mark Dayton's house, basically, his mansion.
They're still there.
I also went to the, yes.
They are.
And,
oh, nice.
Yep. And there's also the city of St. Anthony, who actually, they're the ones who police the surrounding area there, which happens to be where the killing took place and everything. So there was a protest there. I was at that one. It was generally peaceful, you know.
What are the demands of the people occupying the governor's mansion?
Just that there's, you know, they want him prosecuted, which I don't think is going to happen. I mean, in my opinion, I think he's going to probably lose his job or something. They're going to make some kind of example out of him, but I can't see him being charged or found guilty of it simply because, I mean, obviously it wasn't like some premeditated thing.
And what is
But
what is that the shooting itself?
What do you mean?
What do they want him fired for?
What do they want him fired for?
Yeah.
Well, for killing, for just acting recklessly. I mean, you know, I don't. The governor said publicly that he believed that if the driver was not black, that the same thing wouldn't have happened. You know, he publicly said that.
Wow.
And I think that it just created a lot of outrage, I guess.
So he's making statements that are racially fueled, that are making things a little more tense out there.
Well, tense not between like the community, but more tense like within law enforcement and the politicians and things like that.
What have you noticed about the police themselves?
Well, I haven't seen one traffic stop since this happened.
Really?
I haven't seen one traffic stop. Right. Which I guess is good, you know, but
I actually,
you know, I think
I saw them being ridiculous already, and their attitude was hostile. I didn't like the way that they were acting. They
totally initiated the whole thing before the protesters even came. They knew they're coming. They had everything. They had buses ready to jail people. They were like cops. They already had the freeway blocked off. You don't understand. If the protesters just marched and kept walking, traffic wouldn't even have been held up for hours. You know what I mean? It's like they totally initiated the violence. They're the first person who threw like the the bombs and the pepper spray and all that stuff. Like, they totally initiated the violence. Totally. And I know that doesn't surprise you guys. But in my opinion, what I think is that one of the things that people need to do is I think a lot of people need to maybe get together and find a way to file a class action lawsuit. And I'm talking about everybody against the police.
The United States citizens versus the police of the world. Wow.
Seriously.
That is a new idea. I have not heard that one yet, but I like it. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Ademo, Matt?
Oh boy, I wish justice in the courts worked for the people. I wish it would be something that could actually be pulled off.
Yeah, but
you don't think it would make it through the first layer of court?
Nah, it wouldn't even see a real judge.
Well,
yeah, I think you're right.
What would happen is it would be immediately dismissed. We would be told we had no standing.
These officers that do stuff like that, you shouldn't have to be forced to.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's a very interesting idea. I'm glad you came on. You're like the grand finale of the show for the night, Amanda, because you're in the middle. You're in the middle of this. We're all watching this. We're all seeing it through live streams. We're seeing it through people like you that are there on the ground streaming it to us to show us what's happening.
I gotta tell you though, you know why I was there initially? Because I was holding onto a blue flag or whatever for like to desecrate it. I was trying to find the perfect opportunity to. That's what I was going to do. Is I was actually going to go in front of the march and lay it on the ground and let them march over it. You know what I'm saying? That was my way of desecrating the flag. And so, but I couldn't get down there because they already had everything blocked off or whatever. And so I hung it upside down. You know, because I couldn't get down there. But yeah, that was the reason I was there in the first place.
Well, we're coming up to the end of the show, guys. Amanda, thank you so much for joining. It's always been a pleasure. See you later.
My pleasure, man. Bye,
yeah, good to have you on.
See ya.
Word. Badges don't get extra rights.
And this is Severin Freeman from Lehigh Valley Copblock. That was Amanda from Minnesota Copblock.
This is Matt of Carbon County Copblock. You can find me on Facebook and YouTube.
Michael Storm at Topeka Copblock, and I'm up there on Facebook as well. Always happy to make some new friends, especially if they're those sort of weird libertarian voluntarist types.
Those creeps, weirdos.
And who are you, Ademo?
I'm Ademo. You can't find me.
Never heard of him.
Can't find me. I'm just out there.
Where in the world is Ademo Freeman?
Can't find me. Cop's been looking for a while.
You don't see me.
Not here, not here.
Oh, we all watch too much wrestling.
I don't know what's going on with our outro music. It's not playing. So I don't know if we're still on LRN or not, but our time is up. Like, our show should be up. So we're going to wrap up for the night. It's been a great show, guys. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Copblock.org/show. Tune in. Thank you guys for watching.
Peace.
Take it.